Tonight I'm making the Cook Smart's Guinness beef pot pie. I've already gone ahead and done the prep, so for me that just meant dicing up onions and carrots and some garlic. So this recipe is a pot pie, like a beef pot pie that you make with a can of Guinness, and you cook it on the stove, and then you toss a puff pastry on it and put it in the oven. I think one change I'm gonna make is, rather than just making one, I'm gonna kind of divide it into some of these bowls and make smaller pot pies. And they won't have the pastry on the bottom, just on the top, kind of as the recipe calls for. The other thing is there's a lemon arugula salad here. And I did buy some salad greens. I didn't actually buy arugula. And then a dressing. There's no other vegetables or anything on the salad. I've already got a dressing in the fridge, so I'm probably not gonna make this dressing, but it's like a common thing in Cook Smart's recipes. This is really simple salad with a dressing recipe, but usually those are made from pantry ingredients, so it's kind of up to you whether you want to make it. The other change I'm making is I'm just gonna add some extra flavor to the stew part, or the filling of the pie. So I'm adding a little soy sauce and Worcestershire. Other than that, this one I'll probably pretty much stick to the recipe. I did sub dried thyme. One other thing I wanted to note, just in case you're not used to working with puff pastry, it's pretty important that you do get these defrosted ahead of time. They take, I think the package says 20 minutes. They take more than that usually. So you'll want these, and you might want to be able to like roll them, because otherwise when you unfold them they have lines, so you probably want to have a rolling pin and flour. The other thing is, this recipe really, you only use one sheet of the puff pastry. The box comes with two, so you could either save it or you could make a dessert or something. Once you have everything prepped, this filling goes together pretty quickly. Got my carrots and onions sauteing, add a little thyme, and my garlic. And then another minute or so, I will be adding the ground beef. The ground beef is starting to brown. I did season it at this stage. I think they tell you to season it at the next step, but I kind of like to season as I go. Rather than measure the seasoning, just slowly bring it up at each step. Ground beef is just starting to get there, kind of waiting for the liquid to cook off. I'm going to add the paprika and coriander. It's about a half teaspoon of coriander that it calls for. And then I'll add the soy sauce and Worcestershire once the liquid cooks off. It's looking about right, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of soy. I don't want to make it too salty. Worcestershire. I don't want to overpower it. These aren't called for in the recipe. I'm just trying to add maybe a little extra umami flavor. All right, just added the flour. So we're gonna cook this until, or mix this so there's no white spots remaining. Let the flour cook just a little bit. And the fun part comes, which is adding half a pint of beer. So just crack the beer, specifically Guinness for this recipe. The flour's kind of sticking on the bottom, so I'm going to add the beer right away. Good. Stir this up real good. Decide if I want to add more beer. Kept it that amount of beer, and then I just added a little stock. that cooked down as well. Go ahead and add my partially defrosted peas. I don't think I quite want all of these. Stir it and see what it looks like. That's pretty good. Maybe a few more. Probably just turn the heat off with these frost. So here's my idea. Take the filling and put it in these, and should be able to get at least 5 of this size, and then I'm going to take the leftovers and maybe make one more small pie. So it turned out, for the amount of filling I had, those 5 bowls was actually perfect. So I've got this leftover that I'll use for the dessert, and then I've got a whole other sheet too. I was gonna like melt some butter, put some cinnamon and sugar. You can go on YouTube, there's tons of recipes to make with puff pastry. I applied the egg wash, and these are ready to go in the oven. So while the pot pies bake, my plan is just to add some butter, cinnamon, sugar, roll these up in some manner or another, make something kind of like a cinnamon roll, also make maybe like frosting with some powdered sugar and milk. Drizzle that on, and they can cook while we're eating. Yeah. And here's what ended up with